Well, good afternoon. I have the coveted after lunch spot. So I hope that I keep you out of your food coma for the next 20 to 25 minutes. It's a real privilege to be here today. Thank you to Contentsquare for welcoming me to CX Circle to talk about something I'm super passionate about, which is our customer experience at Microsoft, and to share a little bit more about the work that I'm leading there. My name's Kelly Soligan. I'm our Vice President of Digital Direct Sales, and you might say, what the heck does that mean? In layman's terms, I lead our global e-commerce business for consumers. So if you come to Microsoft.com and you buy an Xbox or a Surface laptop, that's our team running our global e-commerce business. And Microsoft is a really big place, and Dave, it's 50 years, not 100, that Microsoft has been in business. We just celebrated our 50th anniversary. And so I thought I would start with just a little bit of where we sit in the organization and what we do. Essentially, I lead the direct-to-consumer channel for the Microsoft brand. And so we sell all of Microsoft's first-party products and services globally across the world through our e-commerce site, Microsoft.com. We operate in over 180 markets, and we are lucky enough to have over 10 billion annual visitors to our consumer-facing web properties. And really what I think a lot is how to profitably grow the consumer business for Microsoft, and how to do that by creating a really compelling customer experience that leverages the power and the trust of the Microsoft brand, but also leans into personalization and dynamic customer journeys that can meet the needs of our customers. So my mission is to profitably grow our consumer business through this direct-to-consumer channel. And I think about doing that in four key pillars or strategic focus areas. First, we really see our product strategy as a key piece of our direct-to-consumer strategy and channel. And by product strategy, this is really about being the best place for customers to buy all of Microsoft's consumer products and services. We should have the widest selection. So that means all the SKUs, all the configurations, all the colors. And we're in stock all the time, because that selection plus availability are real hallmarks of the direct channel. We also kind of like to lean into two fun things that help us differentiate the direct channel. So the first of those being early access to products. We really feel that people who like to buy direct are Microsoft fans, and so they want to get their hands on products as quick as possible. So imagine that ability to only pre-order through the Microsoft channel directly, or that new Xbox game, getting early access to that because you bought from the direct channel and you were able to play it before everyone else. And those are examples that really resonate with our customers. We also really like to lean into exclusives. So again, it's the direct channel. It should be special, and you should be only able to get things from the direct channel. So imagine that high-end configured Surface laptop you can only get from the direct channel, or maybe there's that custom Xbox controller only from the direct channel. And so we really lean into this product strategy as a differentiator of why to buy direct and give those reasons to shop with us. The second pillar of our strategy is around differentiation. As the direct-to-consumer channel, we want to be that unique and provide that unique experience for customers to buy from us. And so here we've really spent a lot of time understanding who our target audience is, and those customers who really prefer to buy directly from our brand. And then understanding their needs, we've leaned into creating a value proposition that speaks directly to them. And so we've created a value proposition that includes things like free and fast shipping, a really generous extended returns policy and time period that's better than any other consumer electronics retailer, price matching, extended periods for price guarantees, and other features that are really compelling and unique to our direct channel. And we see the customers who like to buy direct leaning in and appreciating that differentiation that we provide. The third pillar of our strategy is really a prioritization exercise, understanding the marketing and geography focus that's going to lead to the most compelling business results for our business. So we spent a lot of time analyzing those 180 markets where we operate and looking at where we can have the most impact and return for the consumer business at Microsoft. So we've looked at things like total addressable market, we've looked at things like market penetration, and our awareness in certain markets, and prioritize the geographies that are going to be the most beneficial to our business. Then we've taken the full muscle of our marketing engine from top of funnel all the way down to the bottom funnel and targeted it to those geographies. And when we're doing this, we're seeing outsized results that are profitably growing our consumer business. And then the fourth pillar of our strategy is probably one that's near and dear to all of your hearts since you're here at a Customer Experience Summit, is around our end-to-end experience. Microsoft.com is our customer experience. And so we're really dedicated to how do we add the capabilities and the content to our offering at Microsoft.com. They're going to meet the needs of our customers and going to meet the needs of their future needs. And so where are we leaning into personalization? Where are we leaning into dynamic content that is really going to satisfy their needs and differentiate us? So that is a little bit more about what we're doing from a strategy perspective. I thought I would shift now and just share a bit more deeply into our customer experience and where I've been focusing and leading our team to go forward for the future. It's probably no surprise that AI and personalization are at the forefront of our innovation agenda. I think I've heard the word AI about 1 million times today, so I'm sure it's on your innovation agenda as well. So I thought what I would do with the remainder of my time is share a bit about some of the work we've been driving in the last year around AI and innovation, and then leave you with a few thoughts that I think all of us as customer experience leaders should be thinking about for the future. So one of the first examples I want to share with you is the work that we're driving around voice of customer. So voice of customer for us is all of the customer feedback that we get across a variety of different listening channels. So this could be post-purchase survey feedback. This could be transcripts from customer service and support calls. This could be social media feedback, app feedback, feedback from our managed retail partners. In total, we get over 4 million pieces of customer feedback every year annually. So volume is not my problem. Clarity is the problem, and quality is the problem. Because as you can imagine, with 4 million data points describing customer feedback, the range and quality is pretty disparate. You can get some things that are as simple as one word that says slow. Okay, what do I do with that? And then you can get several paragraphs from a very passionate customer explaining to you maybe why they abandoned the shopping purchase flow and giving us feedback and suggestions for how to improve. And so we have really leaned into AI to help us just make sense of all of this data that we're receiving for customers. And so we're using a new AI-driven model that we call our high-quality feedback scoring model. And to us, high-quality feedback is specific, it is related to a real experience, and it's something that we can take action on. So we've trained this model to identify this high-quality feedback instantly. And so instead of analysts pouring through lots and lots of data, they are now presented with a list of, we think this is the top high-quality feedback that we received. And then we can take faster action on that. So a recent example of this is that we saw some feedback that was referring to friction. I heard Jonathan speak about friction earlier this morning. Friction in the customer journey. I like to cross out friction. And so that is high quality feedback. And the specific example was that customers on mobile were having difficulty using a promo code to complete their transaction. So we were able to quickly have this surface to the top of the list, share that feedback with our engineering partners, share that feedback with the various teams that needed to implement the change, get it fixed within a few hours, and immediately see our conversion rate return to the normal rate that we expect. And so this is a great example of how we're using AI to quickly identify the most valuable feedback and action on it. We've also taken this a step further and linked high-quality feedback with our key performance indicators. So I would look at something like add to cart or checkout page completion as key performance indicators. And so our next step has been to take the high-quality feedback model and map that with those key performance indicators to further surface information to the top of the list for us to be able to action against it, investigate it, and create a plan to improve that for our business. Next, where we're going with this is around pattern detection at scale. As I mentioned, 4 billion pieces of customer feedback every year. We want to be able to catch things that are going to be impactful before they occur. And so we're really focused now with our AI tools on taking a piece of high quality feedback. So an example I recently saw was confusion around specs on a laptop configuration. That was the piece of customer feedback. That was high quality feedback for us. I was then able to take that single piece of customer feedback and use lookalike modeling to find similar sessions within the web journey that were having the same similarities. So like they dropped out at the same point. Able to figure out what was going on there and around the confusing specs, share that information with product marketing, get it fixed with our site merchandising team, and immediately address that customer feedback. So we're really excited about what we're seeing here, the agility this gives us. AI is not only just helping us hear our customers better, but also making it much more actionable and agile for our business. The next example I wanted to share with you is something we're really excited about. I know we heard talk about this earlier today too. In the past year, we launched a generative AI virtual store assistant. And this replaced what I would call a very archaic chatbot that really hadn't evolved with the times, wasn't meeting the needs of our customers, and just wasn't a great brand experience. And so we implemented this generative AI store assistant that's really embedded across our shopping customer journey, from the sales all the way to support. So you can imagine this, and you can go try it right now on Microsoft.com. You can imagine in the shopping journey, a customer can come and interact with the virtual store assistant and say, hey, I'm a student and I'm looking to buy a laptop. The store assistant can then interact in a natural, almost human-like manner with that customer. Ask some more clarifying questions. What type of student are you? Are you studying engineering? Because that's going to be a different recommendation set in terms of a laptop that we think would meet that student's needs. And so the customer can banter with the assistant to really refine their search and get more information. They can produce compare charts. You can configure the device in there, and you can actually buy the device all within that chat stream. So no longer are we making customers go out and hunt and peck around the site. We're giving them that ability to really interact with our brand and get the answers and the solutions they need real time within that. For support, it can complete all of the basic support functions, order lookup, shipping, returns, but it can also hand off to a human agent where we think that's going to add more value for the customer. And so we're really pleased with the progress we've had here. The results are speaking for themselves. In the last 12 months since we launched this virtual store assistant, we've had over 1.7 million AI chats. We're having CSAT that's on par and oftentimes even better with our human experiences. And this next stat is the one that's like the most near and dear to my heart. I'm seeing a 9% lift in conversion rate with the store assistant versus the old bot. And so it's really reinforcing to us that we made the right decision to move forward with this virtual assistant experience for our customers. 86% of customers can resolve their problem, complete their purchase within the virtual store assistant. And I'm seeing a 30% reduction in handoffs to our customer service and support team. And for those of you who pay for those costs, that translates into real dollars. But also from a customer point of view, it means they're getting to their solutions faster, and that is something that we really pride ourselves on there. We're going to be continuing to double down on this feature within the website. We're going to be expanding it internationally to all the markets where we operate. But then we're also leaning into different modalities. So as AI evolves, yes, it's great to chat, but what about voice? What about vision as well, to really continue to enhance this experience for us? And then the final example I'd like to share is about what we're doing with personalization. And I think we've been on a great journey here with personalization. I would characterize the old direct channel as maybe more one-off. Kind of personalization was happening in its own little sidecar over here. And we've really transferred that into a core capability for our business. And the only way we were able to graduate from the manual one-off experiments we were doing here to having a more always-on program was by using AI and the power of AI personalization to extend our footprint. So this really came to light last holiday. I don't know how many of you are in the consumer business, but if you're in the consumer business, holiday is your busiest time of the year. And so we had a lot of aspirations for what we wanted to do in our site experience, what products we wanted to show customers, what promos and offers we wanted to make available. But I simply only have so many humans on my site merchandising team. And so we were faced with, hey, Do we want to provide a less than optimal customer experience, or do we want to push to see how we can improve on that? And so using our AI personalization tools, we were able to optimize on the live signals that we were getting from the site and use AI personalization to reorder product cards to show the most high value, high impact offer to customers, and also to add more content. So if they were looking at a surface, how do we add the right accessories and the right add-on products there? And all this happened with our AI personalization. In the past, it would have had to be manual with the site merchandising team. And so we were able to really extend our site merchandising and the impact of that, and saw a measurable lift in our engagement as well as our conversion rates during this period by the ability to reorder those products and show the most valuable offers in real time, as well as additional offers to our customers. Under the hood on this one, we run Azure data models combined with Adobe Target to make that real. And we've also gone to a further step. We're not optimizing on clicks, we're really optimizing on meaningful actions, because clicks only tell you one part of the story. I'm interested in meaningful actions that make people add something to the cart. And so we're doing all of that personalization and auto reordering based on meaningful actions as the link to do that here. And so we're very excited about the progress we've made to do this and how we've made this a core capability for the team. And we're going to be continuing to extend that as we look forward. Now I want to shift a little bit just to the future. We're really proud of the progress we've made in both AI and personalization, but I know we're scratching the surface, and I think in this industry, like what was hot yesterday is passé tomorrow. So you have to stay ahead of this and really have a vision for the future. And so kind of 3 takeaways I'd love you to think about. They're what I'm thinking about, so I'd love if you want to think about them as well for the future and how we're thinking about evolving our customer experience. The first is I really feel that we're seeing a shift from a search-first customer experience landscape to an agent-first. And what I mean by this is that the customer experience of yesterday in e-commerce would expect you to come to my website, hopefully be wowed by the editorial content that we've merchandised on the homepage. Maybe you would click through our navigation, probably find it a bit confusing. Maybe you'd apply some filters. Maybe you would type into the search bar to find what you're looking for and get some search results that, might be good, might be bad. That's a lot of work for customers. And I don't think that's what any of us want to do in the future. I know my web behavior has changed quite a bit since the launch of ChatGPT and the other AI agents. And so I really, we're moving towards a world on Microsoft.com where you will come and you will interact with an agent. Of course, we will still have navigation and search and all that kind of thing, but we think the customer of tomorrow is going to want to come and search. They're going to want to have a natural conversation with an assistant and get the help and to the information they need in a really quick way that's tailored for their needs. And so we're making steps to put our virtual store assistant that I told you about and to make it a Microsoft.com assistant, because Microsoft is a big company. So of course, I hope that assistant's going to help somebody shop. Selfishly, that's what I hope they'll do. But also, if you want information about Azure or Biz Apps, I hope you're able to, the assistant will be able to get you to that. If you're looking for the careers page, the assistant will be able to get you to that. If you're looking for different corporate information or support, the assistant will be able to get you there. And you'll have that all in your chat stream. It'll enable us to personalize people's experiences when they come back, add more dynamic content to their experience, and really meet their needs faster. And so I think this in e-commerce and in web behavior in general is the future. That's search first is of the past, and really utilizing agents within your web experience is going to be required. Speaking of agents, I also think they're going to work on our behalf outside of our sites. And I swear that I wrote this insight before yesterday's OpenAI announcement. But we really believe that your personal agent of choice, be that ChatGPT, be it Gemini, be it Copilot, is going to be your shopping companion in the future. So you're going to go to ChatGPT, you're going to say, I'm looking to buy a laptop, I'm a student, I have $1,200 to spend, what are my best options? And you're going to be able to refine that search within that chat agent and complete your transaction right there. And I know OpenAI announced some very exciting news about this yesterday. I think that is the future for e-commerce shopping. So as an e-commerce leader, I need to be making sure that my site can be navigated both by humans who are coming the old traditional way, but also by these agents that are acting on behalf of my customers. And so this really means that we need to have the right design, the right APIs, the right partnerships in place to be able to enable those agents to shop on our behalf. And I think this is exciting. This is a whole new traffic channel. I was just on a thread this morning with my team of like, how are we going to capture this traffic that's coming? And what's the value of it? And so as an e-commerce leader, it's very exciting to me to have a new traffic channel and a new way to connect with customers where they are in a mode that they're familiar and confident with. And lastly, I think all of this technology is amazing and it's great and it is motivating. But it is not possible without a team that's empowered and educated and skilled to take advantage of AI. And so this is one of the major focus areas that I have for my organization, is to embed AI into every way that we work. I truly believe that upskilling is non-negotiable. All of our teams, all of us, I'm having to teach myself, need to upskill ourselves in AI. To be competitive. I think it's one of the best things I can do as a people leader is to invest in training, to invest in forums where my team can get hands-on with AI technology for their own personal development, but also for our business, and so they can create better products and solutions for our customers. So that's easy to say. How do you do it? I think it really starts at the top with leadership aligning on commitment to AI upskilling, as well as business outcomes that can be linked to innovation that's driven by AI. You know, like our store assistant. We did that because we knew it would drive greater business results and had leadership sponsorship for that. So it has to come from the top. I think you have to embed AI in every way you do your work. It has to be in the daily work of all of our teams. And I know personally I'm having to retrain myself after more than 25 years of working. I have a certain way of doing things that didn't, for 24 of those years, use AI. And so I have to stop myself and say, gosh, how could I help Copilot do this better for me? And it's amazing when you start. My prompts were not good at first, but you get there and you really grow in your abilities there and you see the output in your work. As I said, I think it's non-negotiable. Everyone on the team needs to be involved in upskilling. And I think you have to create a culture that's okay with some failure. So a culture of experimentation. Yes, there are going to be amazing wins, and there are going to be people who are great at AI, and they're like leading the charts. And then there's going to be people who are struggling and learning. But the learning is what's really making us better in our skills and in our ability to create customer experiences that leverage AI. So as a leader, I think you have to create a culture that is okay with that test and learn fast, and optimization that can come in this space. And so that's where we're investing. I'm investing deeply in AI upskilling for my team so that we can meet these future areas. And then I'm also investing, that's for their own personal productivity and business productivity, but also so that they can create great solutions like our store assistant, like our voice of customer models that we're using, and our personalization that can really keep advancing our customer experience and help us grow our customer business at Microsoft. So thank you very much for your time. I'm going to ask Christy Hollingshead, who's the VP of Customer Success for Contentsquare, to join me here, and we're going to do some Q&A.
All right, so as Kelly said, my name's Christy Hollingshead. I lead customer success, and my job in these last few minutes is to hopefully ask some of the follow-up questions that I know all of you are dying to ask Kelly. So I'll start with kind of a big one. Microsoft CEO has said that the notion that business apps exist is where they'll all collapse in this agentic era. And it sounds like you think that that's also probably true for e-commerce sites, right? Moving to an agent-first world. So how does that change how you design and optimize for that future? You touched on it a bit, but.
Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. I wholeheartedly agree that we're moving towards an agentic world. And so we've really had to think about our processes end to end. It's kind of like my AI upskilling comment. We all have a way of doing our jobs now, and that's going to change rapidly in the coming months and years. And so we've really had to look at what would an agentic experience look like for us on our site. We started with the store assistant that I told you about, and then we saw, hey, this could go a lot further than just shopping. And I do have responsibility for running Microsoft.com, all up. And so I was like, gosh, it's got to go further because Microsoft's a huge company. I hope people are coming for shopping purposes, but they're also coming to find other information about the company. And so that was a big aha for us because we started with one thing and saw that it could have legs to go into the rest of the organization. We have to think about our data and our meta tagging within our pages, making sure that it's all ready to feed the model behind that assistant. So there's that. And then I think on the flip side is that's when someone's coming to my website, I strongly believe that a big source of traffic for us is going to be through each of our personal AI agents of choice. So I'm going to ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, I want a new Xbox. What are the options? And so we have to be ready for our site to be navigated by both these humans and these agents and be okay with that too. I think sometimes like when you're hardcore in e-commerce, you're like, what's my traffic and what's my conversion rate? Down the line, my team knows these metrics well. There's a whole new set of metrics coming. And so how are you going to capture those? How are you going to define what a benchmark looks like for that? Personally, I find that super exciting, because it's like you've been doing it one way for a long time, and now this is a whole new world and thinking about how can that be a growth lever for our business as well, too.
Yeah, I think actually that's a great follow-up. So new metrics is something we're seeing a lot of our customers ask about already. They're starting to track, these agents already as a channel, but what other metrics do you think that you're starting to think about as you work towards this future?
Yeah, so many. On the agent within our site, we're looking at successful resolution, what customer feedback we get from that. One of the things I didn't mention is within that store assistant, you get to mine the conversations that are there. So there's customer sentiment within there. There's just so much data that's available there. So that's one thing we've been thinking about how quickly can customers get resolution, looking about how is this taking down my traditional customer service and support costs, and what do I want to do with that? That's interesting to me. Gosh, where do I want to put those dollars? How do I think about different channels for the customer to interact with us? And then I think on the using agents to drive traffic, just understanding what kind of a traffic channel is that going to be for me? What's the quality of that traffic? Do I like the results that ChatGPT or Copilot's giving about us? And then I'm going to have to go in and mine my site and make sure that our product information is really hitting the mark.
Absolutely. One of the next things is you also talked about you have to have new skills and new roles as you're building these agents or analyzing the VOC data. So what else has had to change in your operating model as you've started to build the experiences you spoke about already?
It's a good one. I will tell you right now, we're getting really comfortable with the chaos of AI. I think eventually we're going to have to put some more governance in place. And don't get me wrong, we follow responsible AI procedures and all that kind of stuff. But I got everybody coding and trying things in AI right now. And a little bit, I'm okay with it. So I have people building their agents. I just saw some great work last week where somebody had built an agent using Copilot GitHub that is able to assess all of the SEO metrics against our sites instantly. It's able to search for dead links instantly. That all used to be things we paid vendors to do for us and check all that information. And so I'm seeing just like this crazy innovation and creativity and curiosity from our team of how do I use agents and how do I use AI to be more productive in my role. And so there's a lot going on right now. I like it. But eventually, two people are going to be doing the same thing at the same time. And so we're looking ahead to what kind of governance do we need to put in place, especially when something's customer-facing. I don't need 3 people building a store assistant. I need to have consistency and brand equity in that. And so that's something we're looking about in our process and operations is what's the right balance of like AI, creativity, and innovation, and then where do we put some more process and controls around it. I'm liking the chaos right now, though, because I think it's leading to some great breakthroughs.
Yeah. One of the other things, too, is there's so many new skills that people need to have, right? And it's not like there are people that have been doing this for the last 30 years. So when you're thinking about things like new roles, I've heard prompt engineers or neural network engineers. Like, where are you actually going to find the people who are skilled in this?
That is a great question. And it's really on my talent agenda is thinking differently about how we recruit talent to the company. I think we have the advantage of Microsoft being a leader in AI, that people do want to come work at Microsoft, and we can give them those experiences. But I think of like when I have a chance to hire or to augment the team, I'm hiring for those future skills. Like it used to be like, hey, I really want someone who knows site merchandising, has done 10 years of it, that type of thing, all valuable. But now I'm like looking to how can I have those skills already in the team. How can I augment the skills with people who are more on the cutting edge of AI and can help the entire team lift up there? And then when I think about retaining employees, like we're making huge investments in AI upskilling, which you could probably tell because I said that many, many times, and creating space for employees to really dig in and test and learn. And so we have an initiative, and every week people are sharing, hey, here's what I did, being encouraged to create an agent, be encouraged to showcase, hey, here's a tip that I learned here, because I do think it takes that collective. I mean, I wasn't kidding. Like, I have to stop myself. I start writing an email, and then I'm like, I should not be writing this. Copilot should be writing this for me. But I have I have to teach myself new tricks. And so I think really making sure that all of us are modeling, how are we using AI in our daily work life, and then and sharing that and creating that sense of, experimentation, and it's okay for it not to work the first time, but really like raising our collective IQ around it. Because I can't create great experiences with AI if nobody knows how to use it. And so that's the point. Like, I want everybody to, of course, develop their own skills, but I want them to be able then to put that to bear on our business, which will, hopefully be the next, great customer experience that we're excited about.
Yeah, it's something we've been doing on our teams too, is, of course, like everyone, we're trying to use AI, and so much of it is getting our teams to figure out how they can use it, but we've really tried to build a culture of, hey, when you do something that works or that doesn't work, share it out with the rest of the team. Let us all learn from the creative ideas that you had and from some of the things that weren't a success. So I love that, and that just talking about how do you think for the future and how to upskill people. We'll wrap up with one question, which is just, if the audience was to take away one thing from today, what advice or insight would you encourage them to leave with?
Well, hopefully that it's the after lunch spot is the best spot of the day. No, I just think things are happening a lot faster than we all know that they're happening. I mean, I was not joking when I said I had written that bullet point before yesterday's announcement. We had been talking just 2 weeks ago at work about, hey, I think in the future you're going to be able to purchase in ChatGPT or in Copilot or Gemini and whatever it is, and then it's here. Like, there is no time to waste in this space, and I think you can quickly become a laggard if you're not investing in the right culture to drive the experimentation in this space, the right executive alignment around it, and the right talent and people to do it, and then testing. We put a lot of stuff out that never sees the light of day because, hey, but we learn something from it and we take it to the next thing, and hopefully that's making our customer experiences better and better. But I think what we know of customer experience today is going to be old school by next quarter, and so you have to constantly be future forward thinking and visioning there, or we're going to get left behind. And in the e-commerce space, it's all about clicks and conversion and driving the business, and so I don't have time to waste in that space, and I'm sure many of you are like that as well. So
thank you so much. Please join me one more time in thanking Kelly for her insights.
Nice job. Thank you.